Aloha headsets, it's your boy Frank, and it's time for your daily update. First up, I had an Oculus Rift last week, and I thought I'd go over it versus the PlayStation VR. So enjoy this short little video, and we'll be back for a few more things about the two. Right, first up we're gonna go over the headset. Now, these are the touch controllers. This right here is the sensor, and you have to set that up so the touch controllers will be read and tracked by the computer. You have to turn it up and angle it at your chest. Next up, we have the actual touch controllers, which felt amazing in my hands, as I'll tell you later. You click them and you have to have them turned on and read so the system reads them. Now we're gonna move on to the actual Oculus Rift. We have another sensor that we need to set up first, and you set this one exactly the same way you set up the other one. Notice I did not install any of the programs. They were already built into this computer, so you have to do all that first. But realistically, once you've got that set up, all you have to do is plug these babies in. Now we're grabbing the actual headset. This thing feels awesome. It's fun to put on my head. I had no issues with it whatsoever. It is a wonderfully made, wonderfully crafted design. I'm showing you the head right now of it. In a second, I am going to show you the Velcro strap on top. That's how you adjust it for the most part. There are also two Velcro straps on the sides of the HMD. As you can see there, I'm pulling on one, and then I'm gonna pull on the other one on the other side. It just really pointed out. The ear headphones, you can adjust them. You can also adjust the little headphone piece, make it fit your ear perfectly, which is nice. There's a nice foam padding on the inside, so it doesn't really sit on your face, anything rough. It's very, very comfortable. I just kind of sweat a lot, as I'll tell you in a second. And now we're going into the setup test. So you got everything plugged in. You got to make sure that the sensors are communicating right with the system. And then you're pretty much good to go. Automatically, as soon as they're plugged in, they're easily set up. You hit next, you set how tall you are so that the ground is there. My space was already cleared, so I was ready to go. Got my sensors placed, set them up. Now time to walk back. So the first thing that I'm going to do is I have to step back, walk into the center of my area, and put my touch controller up near my eye and click and hold the trigger button. So holding that, sticking my hand out, make sure that I'm centered, sensors reading right. Tracking is nice. Now we say okay to that, and we're gonna set up our Guardian system. I think this is really cool. So doing this, you just walk around the room. It shows you all the area that the trackers are tracking, and you can play your play area. So you set your play area, you draw out basically the imaginary box, and then when you're actually in VR, the game shows you that imaginary box around you anytime you get close to the walls, which is awesome. It's really cool to see that box kind of fill in, and you can see it all come together, and you really get a sense of how much room you have to play in and how much immersion and how much scale you actually have, which is kind of cool. See, I had moderate. If I move the couch and the table, I have a little bit more room, but even with moderate, I never ran into any issues. So I wanted to show you guys this because I was so surprised at how easily it was plug and play. I'd heard that it would take forever to get it set up, have all the issues. Honestly, once you're done with this, you pop the headset on, you pick a game, and it loads up in no time. An amazing system. I hope to get one of these days, but I just thought I'd show you, and I'll tell you everything else about it compared to PlayStation VR, which I still love, and I think you guys are gonna be happy with what I have to say, so please enjoy. I was completely surprised at how easy the setup was. I thought it was going to be much more difficult. Mind you, I did not install any of the programs, so that could have been hard, but honestly, it hasn't been that hard for me to install programs in the past. Now, comfort-wise, the Oculus was pretty damn comfortable. I'd heard that it wasn't that comfortable, but really, I never had any issues. I definitely sweated a whole lot more wearing it, but on my head, I had no problems whatsoever, especially compared to when I tried out a Vive, which just kind of felt like something stuck to my face. Resolution is also a big thing that people keep asking me about. The thing is, I don't notice it when I'm playing VR games, whether it's a beautiful game or whether it's a crummy game. Sure, if I stop and look at the roses, I can say, yeah, this game looks better, yeah, this game looks worse, but it's definitely not something that's gonna make you jump to it. The thing that will make you jump to it are the motion controls. Now, the touch controls for the Oculus, I gotta say, beat out move controls, hands down. They just feel awesome to use. And yes, I've heard that some people can see the ground or like the world around you a little more out of the Oculus, But the thing is, when you're doing that and you have the touch in, you like see your hands a little bit and then you see them in that world, and it's kind of amazing. The one-to-one is nuts. So they've really got those touch controllers down great. Moving your hands around, kind of adjust how each one looks, and it's pretty cool. Now with the two sensors, I noticed the same tracking pretty much as PlayStation VR. It wasn't leagues above or anything. Had the same issues when my hands would go behind my head or if I turned too far as I do when I play in the PlayStation VR. Now, the option to add a third sensor changed everything. I plugged that one in after a day or two. I could move around, I could turn my hand here, there. It was nuts. So I really do hope that PlayStation offers us some kind of other option to add to our PS4 right now, just to increase the room tracking a little bit better. Now game-wise, you're not missing out too much. I spent most of my time playing Super Hot and Robo Recall, which were amazing experiences, don't get me wrong. But honestly, I love my games on my PlayStation VR, and by the end of the week, I was just kind of looking around and trying to find something to play next. There are a lot of tech demos. I mean, a lot of tech demos. You think we have some on PSVR? Ooh, Oculus has got a handful. And don't even get me started on Steam. Finally, Immersion and Enjoyment. I gotta say, my sense of presence with the Oculus was definitely a little bit better than with PlayStation VR. When I was standing up, moving around the room, especially because of how much room you truthfully have to move in, you really feel like you're there a whole lot more often. Now, don't get me wrong, PlayStation VR is great. I definitely feel like I'm there, and there's no issues, but you can really see where that extra money that you're putting into a PC is when you get into the immersion part. Honestly, the tracking with the hands, and once you're there with the third sensor, is next level. And I can completely understand why somebody might want to shell out $2,000. But honestly, with your PlayStation VR, you are still in heaven. Maybe this is just like another layer of heaven. And finally, pricing. Now for PlayStation VR, you can get it for $810. Honestly, if you don't get it bundled, which is a great deal, plus tax, don't get me wrong. Now, if you want the Pro, you can get $910, and you're getting the best experience PlayStation has to offer. You're getting top-notch games, you're getting some great indie titles, and really everything goes through PlayStation's process, so most of these are tighter experiences than what you get on Oculus and Steam. Also, you're going to be shelling out at least like $1,900 for a solid Oculus rig. Yes, they do have one that you can spend $999 on right now, plus tax, and you get the Oculus, you get the touch, and you get a computer, and that's a pretty good deal, but that computer's not going to run into the future. You're going to want to upgrade that, plus you're going to want to buy games, so you're going to be spending a whole lot more. If you have the money laying around, it is definitely worth the investment. It's really cool, but mind you, I haven't tried a Vive yet, and I have heard that is leagues above the rest, so we'll find out in the future. Now, on to the news. First up, I am on Small Fry Unify's Games Lounge. Yes, this will be a monthly series that I believe is coming out today on their channel, so if you got the time and you want to see a little bit more Frankie, go check it out. I'll drop the link in the description if I have it, but you guys know I'm not that great with links. Now, before we go on to the rest of the news, I got something new for all you headsets out there. I spend every day with you people. I love you, it's great, it's one of the best relationships I got, but I'm ready to move this baby to the next level. So, we're gonna try something new. I got a poll going up probably in the next second or so. You should see it pop up on the screen here or there. I don't know where they pop them up now, but I don't know if I need to shave. Should I shave my beard or should I keep the beard? The results will dictate what I'm gonna do, and we'll find out the answer tomorrow. Now, please enter the poll, and hopefully if you like something like this, let me know in the comments, and you can dictate more of my real-life choices in the future. Next up, almost 50% of VR professionals are seeing growth. Yes, at a recent VR event, 500 pros were surveyed, and around 46% that they'd seen great growth or very good growth, which is very nice. And only a 3% that it was weaker than they expected. So if you're a developer watching this, or somebody thinking about game development, at least in this basically first year, because it's just Oculus and Vive's first birthday, and PlayStation's 6-month birthday, I'm 100% sure this world is only gonna get bigger, better, and stronger. Next up, Tethered has a non-VR update, which is pretty cool. So people were liking the Tethered game so much, they decided to make it available to everyone. Now, PlayStation owners that don't have VR can play Tethered as well, which I'm thinking might have people fall in love with the game, wish they could play it in VR, and then go out and buy a PSVR. You never know, it could be really good for us. In other news, VR Invaders trophies popped up, and it looks like it's probably gonna come out soon. The last time trophies popped up right away was ping pong, and it was out about 3 or 4 days later. Best Buy has a $10 off sale on a lot of PlayStation VR titles going on right now. Valkyrie's on that list, Rush of Blood, Battlezone, Driveclub, and Rigs, to name a few. So if you're into collecting physical editions of games, now could be a chance to grab a deal on some of those titles you missed out on. And finally for the news, as we all know, the PlayStation Store dropped a couple stinkers last week. Well, I wouldn't call them stinkers, but they're definitely not worth the price. Alchemy VR released 3 new PlayStation experiences that we talked about a few weeks back on the show, but now they're finally in our hands, and the people don't really seem to be enjoying them. Now don't forget, these were made for museums and for people that typically don't play VR. The kind of experience what VR would be really more for your mass consumer rather than someone like us that really wants a 3D video. So I could see people going to a museum, strapping something on like this and being wowed because they're not used to this on a daily basis. But for people like us, yeah, it's a jib. Nat Geo's got some 360 videos that are even better and better quality. These are not 3D videos, they're just 360 videos. You're paying for the narrator. And now, back by popular demand, everybody's favorite, Ask Frank. First up, Gates Kubra asks, Frank, I heard something about shirts. Are those coming anytime soon? Gates, I'm working on them. I was gonna go get the thing today so I could draw it out and then I could print them onto a bunch of shirts because I am hand making these shirts, people. Don't forget that if you buy a shirt, it was handmade by Frankie himself. So I gotta do that, and that'll probably take another week or so because I'm lazy as all hell when it comes to doing stuff like that. But I will get on it because I have to very soon. Richard Lacoste asks, Frank, any RPGs coming to PSVR? Well, Richard, Redemption's Guild should be coming by the end of the year. That's made by my buddy Mike over at Unlit Games, and it's looking amazing. We also have Chaos Chronicles, which doesn't have a date really yet. They said Q1 2017, but we're nearing the end of that one soon, so I'm not 100% sure. Other than those two, nothing really confirmed yet. Nick Ashcroft, a new subscriber, asks, Frank, how about some 360 videos? Well, first up, Nick, welcome to the family, and anybody else new to the channel, if you haven't had the chance already, it's a pleasure to meet you. Leave me a comment, introduce yourself. I love getting to know you wonderful people. And regarding 360 videos, I emailed Samsung the other day requesting a Gear 360 camera for the channel, so maybe they'll send me one. Otherwise, I gotta wait until I save up a little more funds, but I am extremely interested in bringing you people 360 content. Don't you worry, Frank will move and evolve with the future. Next up, Here Take This asks, hey Frank, you gonna do one of those long Farpoint streams? Here, I definitely will. We're gonna play that game all the way through, and then we'll probably play the co-op through as well, because why the hell not? Might even toss in a little multiplayer to spice things up a bit. Tech for the Future asks, Frank, you have any problems with the Pro and blackouts in particular? Tech, I've had a couple blackouts here and there, but nothing that lasted too long. I had the same issues on the OG PS4. I think the wires are extremely sensitive when they're plugged into that little box, because anytime I even tap the HDMI, sometimes something goes wrong. I don't know, could be something with my wires and could be something with your wires. I found that if you get them all separated out, make sure there's not a lot of tension in the wires, I haven't had any issues. Also, the other day I noticed that up in the corner of my screen when I went from Netflix to a game, it said screen resolution changed. So I'm wondering if when we jump around, there's a lot of resolutions changing here and there, that just kind of every once in a while, your PlayStation just gets backed up and can't take it all. Conrad Carbe asked about screen door issues in the PlayStation 4 Pro. Now Conrad, I don't really have any screen door issues ever. I didn't on the OG PS4 and I don't on the Pro. Definitely increases resolution a little bit and you see less graininess to textures, they seem way more smooth, but other than that, I'd never had any issues with a screen door effect to start with. Andrew Hidalgo wants to know about Tekken 7 in VR. Well, Andrew, I asked them about it when I was at PAX and they did not comment. So I don't know anything more than you know. As soon as I know more, you will know more. And finally, Losing Mike asked, Frank, what do you use to shoot videos? Well, Losing, typically I shoot on a Canon SLR, which is what I'm shooting on at this moment. But a lot of the time lately, I've been live streaming on my phone because the YouTube app updated to just let me hit live stream and go to town with it. Sometimes I'll shoot little parts of my video on the phone when I can't get into a spot with my camera, but typically I'd much rather shoot on an SLR than I would my iPhone, just because I have more control over the picture quality. And finally, what a lot of you have been waiting for, the winner of our DualShock 4 traveling case is Todd Miller. Congratulations, Todd Miller. Send me a private message and I'll get you your prize as soon as possible. Now, to those of you that did enter and did not win, I'm sorry, but don't worry about it. We got another giveaway today. If you remember, I gave away a pair of DualShock 4 grips a couple weeks back. I got another pair in red. Now, if you want to enter those, all you gotta do is leave a comment on this video that says I love PlayStation VR. And if you don't mind, subscribe to your boy Frank if you aren't already. And now if you want to increase those odds, all you gotta do is share this video and tag your boy in it on social media and you're golden. Now, thank you for watching. If you enjoyed it, I mean honestly, if you enjoyed it, hit that thumbs up button. But more importantly, if you want to stay up to date on everything PlayStation VR and you don't mind this ugly mug, friggin' subscribe! I mean, come on!